In August 2025, Bonners is opening our 4th UK keyboard and piano store in Newcastle, where you'll be able to see, touch and play Kronos 3. We're planning a massive opening event in early August to which everyone is invited, so head over to the Bonners Newcastle page on our website to sign up for updates and to receive notification of when the opening celebrations will be taking place. My name is Tony White, and back in January of this year I was lucky enough to see the new Korg Kronos 3 at the NAMM show in California. I then saw the very first unit that Korg brought into the UK, but I only had about 5 minutes to get my hands on it during my visit to their offices. Now, I've been trying really hard to get my friend Luke Edwards, who's one of Korg's international demonstrators, to come down to my studio and talk about the Kronos 3, and today I'm pleased to say that that became a reality. Luke and I discussed the new Korg Kronos in detail, and I think you'll find this an interesting video whether you're an experienced Kronos user or Kronos 3 is the first time you've paid real attention to this powerhouse keyboard workstation. Until our Newcastle store opens, you can see Kronos 3 in our Eastbourne and Milton Keynes keyboard shops. Just give the local store a call to check stock availability before making the journey, because as with most new products, Kronos 3 is in very short supply in the early days of its life. If you already own a keyboard from any brand that you'd like to upgrade to a Kronos 3, the Bonners Keyboard Upgrade Scheme is the hassle-free way to trade in your instrument for the latest model. Complete our easy online form and we'll get right back to you with a trade-in valuation. So let's not delay any more. Here is part 1 of the Kronos 3 demo presented by Bonners Music and Luke Edwards from Korg. I've divided the video into 2 parts as the complete demo is almost an hour long. So sit back with a good set of headphones or speakers and enjoy. Well, obviously Kronos first launched in 2011, I think it was.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Some time ago.
So maybe what we should start with is, what about just a quick overview of what Kronos is all about for people who haven't experienced Kronos before?
Yeah, sure. So Kronos really is the latest iteration of our flagship workstation, which started back way in '88 with the M1.
Yeah.
And moved through the other models like Trinity, Triton, and so on. And eventually landing with this. And what made it great and why it's still so great is it has, first of all, fantastic sound quality. So you have so many different sounds and a great palette of sounds to choose from. But also back then we introduced some industry firsts, such as the set list, which was great for live players. And also smooth sound transitions, so you could move between sounds seamlessly as well. And of course it has a full sampler in it as well, so you can basically transform it into anything you want.
So I remember, I'm old enough to remember the M1 and before that.
Yeah.
The word workstation, what does that mean nowadays? Because back then it went synthesizer, drum machine and sequencer, I think.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So yeah, we kind of coined the phrase workstation with the M1 because we had our 3 main pillars of ways to do things. So you had program mode for making sounds, programming up your sounds. Then you had a combination mode to put those sounds together in any configuration you wanted. And then at that time it was 8 parts, which at the time was incredible, because you could start stacking up some incredible sounds and also zoning them on the keyboard as well.
Yeah.
So it's great for performance. And then you had a sequencer as well. So you could then start recording all of these sounds. So that was really what the workstation concept began as, and then it evolved into sampling and then live performance with a set list and lots of other things as well.
Audio recording as well, isn't
Audio
it?
recording.
Yeah.
The original Kronos had 16 tracks of audio, and this has that as well as your 16 tracks of MIDI.
Right, so we've got basically a 32-track recorder,
Yes.
if you include MIDI and audio.
Yeah.
Sampler is on top of that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and then also the synth engines as well. It's not just the one synth engine like we used to get, is there?
That's the thing. That's the other groundbreaking thing when the Kronos came out, and it's kind of industry leading. It has 9 different engines, and it's really like having 9 different synthesizers. That's what made it great, because with all of the workstations before and now, apart from the Kronos, really, you have that one sound, and as good as they can sound, they all sound like a certain product.
Yeah.
Whereas what the Kronos does is it takes all of our legacy synths and puts some of our cutting edge technology alongside those, so it's more close to working in software and a DAW, because you can use, in effect, they're like plugins, so you can just bring them in as you need them.
Yeah, and did you know, even though, where are we now? We're 14 years since the first launch of Kronos. customers who I deal with all the time, they still ask what is the best onboard sequencer, because some people don't want to use a DAW.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's still Kronos.
Yeah.
Even the original Kronos, even by today's standards, still has the best onboard recording and sequencing.
And it's so easy as well, because you can just go into Quick Record and just record from a combi, say, all of those parts straight into your sequencer, and it's just done.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So what about for people who know Kronos then? So I noticed it's called Kronos, it's not Kronos 3 or Kronos 2 or Kronos Plus. So and in fact, I think every iteration of Kronos has just been called Kronos.
It has just been called Kronos, yeah, but I suppose officially this is Kronos 3.
Yeah.
If you want to give it a number.
Yeah.
But we're not putting it on the panel or anything.
Okay. So what are the new things with Kronos 3 then?
So the first thing which we've improved substantially is the time it takes to warm up.
Yep.
So the original ones took quite some time to boot up because of all the information there, but because we've got a new motherboard, new SSD inside, and a twice the size SSD as well, it just boots up so much quicker. It's around 40 seconds now, which is
right. Yeah, it was about 2 minutes before, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was up to about that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've improved that substantially. So there's a lot of people who are going to be very, very pleased about that. The next thing we've done is we've added a whole bunch of new sounds.
Yeah.
So we've got a few banks of different sounds. Some of them are showcasing some of the fantastic sound libraries which are available for the Kronos as well.
Yeah.
I think there's over 300 libraries now which you can download. Some of them are free, some of them you can buy. And we've taken like some of the best sounds from those, put them into there. We've also given you a best of Triton pack as well. So you've got 128 of the original called Triton sounds in there as well. And we've got 2 new banks of combis as well. So 256 brand new combis that you can get involved with as well.
Can we have a listen?
Yeah,
go on.
That's what we want to do.
Yeah, go on. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So, well, I've created a little set list here, especially for you. So, I just wanted to just show you some of the sounds and talk about some of the different engines as well for some people who have not seen those before. So, first of all, this is a new Italian piano. So, this is new to the Kronos. So you can see this is where the engine concept really comes into play straight away. So you can manipulate the sound on the screen. You can make it more mellow by closing the lid, and also you can bring up your list of all of our sample pianos which are inside. Japanese pianos, Austrian pianos, Berlin pianos, we've got German pianos, so there's just loads to choose from, and all different iterations of those as well.
It's an extremely high resolution screen, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's very responsive as well. We've improved the touch responsiveness of this new screen on the Kronos 3 as well. Yeah. So then as you go through, you've got different engines for different instruments. So for instance, with your electric piano, it's great because you can see like your front panel of your electric piano here, and you can also choose the type. So we've added this model, this early Type 1 model for the Kronos 3 as well. This is a new electric piano. And what's great is that we've got our real-time controls, just like an original Kronos. So you can dial in some reverb really quickly, or maybe that little pedal which is plugged in, which is a phaser. Which is really cool. So it's just really nice to have those hands-on controls, and it makes it, although in your mind you might think, oh God, 9 engines, that sounds really complicated. It actually makes it more simple because it's more visual. Yeah, and you can kind of dive in and just see the parameters you need to see as well. Now, in this program mode, which we're in at the moment, which are usually single sound, you can actually stack 2 sounds together. So, because you have 2 oscillators, and they can be completely different things. So even before you go into combi mode, you've got 2 sounds.
But do they have to both be from the same engine?
No, they can be completely different engines. So here, for an example, we've got this. This is actually one of the artist patches, one of the signature sound patches, I should say. Yeah. So we've got this organ, which is a CX3 organ, and you can see you've got your drawbars, which you can control here. But we've also layered it with like a Mod7 sound, which is like a synth sound. So you've got this sort of sound.
So we've got 2 different synth engines in one sound.
Yes, in one sound. And obviously then if you take that into combination mode,
Yeah.
potentially what, for 32 sounds,
Wow.
which is quite something.
I didn't realise you could do that.
Yeah.
That
It just gives you
that's so powerful.
It just gives you a lot of versatility,
Yeah.
even at a programming level. So even if you want something as basic as like a piano and strings, you don't
Yeah.
have to go into combination mode. You can do it here if you want to.
Fantastic.
Because you can obviously balance the
Yeah.
levels of these and stuff if you want
Great.
to. Talking of another different engine, you've got the Mod7 engine. So this is our FM synthesis engine.
Yeah.
So this allows us to do stuff like this,
Yeah.
the classic sound. But it's so authentic as an FM engine, you can actually load those vintage DX patches into it.
Yeah.
So it does become effectively like a DX7.
Do you need a tape recorder to do that?
No, thankfully, you can do it with a USB key
Oh,
now. So yeah, you can just load in the SysEx data.
Yeah.
And then you can load a whole bank at once as well. So you could have like the original DX7 bank, for example, just there ready to go, and then you can start patching in effects from the Kronos, because obviously back then everything was dry.
Of course.
So
yeah.
you needed to have external effects, but now you can just go into your effects section and just add some chorus and reverb, whatever you want to do.
Does it only load the was DX7? Was that 8 operator or 6 operator? I can't remember.
6.
Does it only load the 6 operator stuff, or will it load the DX11 and?
No, it won't load those. It'll only load the.
It's got to be DX7
yeah,
compatible, right? Okay.
But there's literally thousands of sounds.
Oh yeah,
for
yeah,
those.
and they were the fattest sounds anyway, so you more operators.
And they were most commonly used ones as well. So as you can see, you've got a patch bay here, which as you look at these are basically your operators. So then you can repatch them, and you can bring up your algorithm, and you can see it's got a vintage DX section.
Okay.
So you can patch in all your algorithms from. You can still patch in the algorithms from these other synths, but you don't have enough operators to have all of the sine waves, if you like.
Right.
But you, like our Op6, you can then use different sounds on these operators as well. So they don't have to be sine waves, they can be different waveforms. And you've got a PCM, a sample-based oscillator as well in this engine. So you can bring in sample-based sounds. Plus, which I only, to my embarrassment really, found out the other day, it has all of the wave shaping models from the A1W in here. So,
really?
Yeah. So in theory, you can rebuild, because it's got the sample element, you can rebuild A1W sounds in this engine as well.
Great, I know A1W. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, another classic, because that came after the, well, there was the M1 and the T series, then the O1W, so that was the next one.
Or the M10 as it was.
Yeah, the M10.
No, yeah, turn it upside down. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and that had unique sounds because of the wave shaping, which was never introduced on any other keyboard.
That's right.
Other than that.
And that's what gives that special sound, because you've got those glorious sort of Korg pads, but with that motion of the wave shaping in there as well, which is really cool. And you've got all of those wave shapes in there in that engine, which is amazing. So as you can see, we kind of, with the Kronos, we're bringing in a lot of legacy into it as well as cutting edge technology as well. So here's another example of that. This is a Poly 6. So as you can see, you've got 2 of those stacked together here.
Yeah.
So another instrument that we're proud of in our line from the past is Karma.
Yes, yeah.
So that was a red keyboard, yeah. So that introduced a whole new concept of sort of advanced arpeggiation, I suppose is the best way to describe it. Because it wasn't just arpeggiating notes at that point, it was arpeggiating other parameters like filters, effects, to give some incredible motion and realism sometimes to the sounds.
Yes.
So you've got that built in here, and you can turn on the Karma aspect, and you've actually got one instance here, but if you go into combi mode, you've got 4 modules. So you can have 4 different things happening from the Karma engine, which can get really complex, but cool as well. So here we're just using it in a kind of simple form. So if I just turn it on and play a note, here that pattern is moving, but it's playing a pattern, but it's also opening and closing the filter. So you've got some motion happening within there.
So Karma is arpeggiated notes and arpeggiated controllers as well.
Yeah, I suppose if you were looking at it in a DAW, you'd call it modulation or automation. Yeah. So because it's things that are happening over time, which you can program or have happening random. It's depending how you have it set up. But the cool thing about Karma is you can control that in real time with this control surface as well. So if I just go into the Karma screen there on that sound, you'll see that's in a bass pattern category, and it's called snaky synth bass. And some people say, oh, Karma's great, but all I want sometimes is just a regular arpeggiator.
Yeah.
It's far too complex. Well, all you have to do is just go into Arpeggio and just select one of these simple patterns, and then you've just literally got, turn it on. That's just arpeggiating the notes I play. And then you have things on the faders, things like duration control. So that's like gate timing and arpeggiator. And of course, what we've got on the original Kronos on still is the drum track as well. So you get a lot of motion and also that sort of movement within the sound as well with Karma. And here's another engine. This is our MS20 engine, so another one of our classic synths.
Love that screen.
Oh, that's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you can do your virtual patching as well on there, which is great. But the reason I wanted to show you this sound is this is one of my favourites because it has great use of Karma. So if I play a couple of notes here. So I'll play a pattern. But we've also got the vector joystick.
Yep.
So that's a nice, easy way to dive into sound manipulation. If you don't really want to get involved with that, that's fine. Yep. You can just do it this way. You can kind of feel your way through the sound. What you also have with Karma are different scenes. So they're basically snapshots of how these controls are set up in this mode. So if I go to this screen here and select a different scene, you'll see these move. And you can have up to 8 of these scenes.
And you can store, are those scenes stored as part of the program?
They are, yeah, yeah.
Right.
So you can have, so let's start it off. So it can be quite different.
So the scenes, those scenes are calling up different arpeggiator patterns, aren't they?
They are. They can be, or they could just be variations of that same one with different.
Oh, with different gate
positions.
times. And
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly
okay.
right. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So yeah, that's the kind of power of Karma, really.
That's really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, and
really
those Karma patterns are great because they're categorized as well. So depending on what sound you're on, so we're on a synth sound, so it's in bass pattern. But say you're playing guitar, you've got loads of great strumming patterns, and there's even loads of great drum patterns as well in there, as well as the drum track. So yeah, there's lots of scope for. Yeah.
And Joe, you mentioned the vector joystick because that was first seen on the Workstation, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
I just like the way that this is, because there's no point reinventing the wheel every time you bring out a new keyboard, is there? That's the great thing, because I mean, if you had a Workstation or something in the past, or like you said, a Triton, people love those sounds, and if they're still gigging with them, you still want those sounds, but you want something new added to it rather than just replacing everything you had before. And so it's great how you've kept all those ingredients.
What's and what's great is that we're obviously very lucky at Korg because we have an incredible legacy of synth. So why not use that, and then kind of couple that with the new technology inside as well. So talking of the Workstation, you've got some Workstation sounds built in.
Brilliant.
Not just the vector joystick, but you've got stuff like this.
My favourite patch.
And something you didn't have the original Workstation was the drum track, so you can put a groove with it. And as you can see, again, we're using the 2 elements of the engine. So this is now a different engine. This is called HD1. So this is your sample-based engine, which is also capable of replicating things like Triton sounds, Workstation sounds, because essentially it's just bringing in samples, but because it's got that wave sequencing element built into this engine, you can mimic Workstation sounds as well. So this one has the 2 elements. So it has that sound there. So if we go into our little amp level, we can do just the choir sound. So all I'm doing there is muting the two, and then if I go back and bring back just that one, you'd hear just the wave sequence.
So nostalgic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But love it.
It definitely has a unique sound.
Yeah.
And of course you've got all your M1 sounds in here as well. So you've got your M1 piano, which is obviously still used now a lot,
Yeah.
and the organ as well. So you've got all of those sounds built in, you don't have to download anything, you just get those. And as I said, we've got a bank of Triton sounds we've given you. 128, I really like this sound actually. So with a bit of motion to it. What's nice is when you bring your drum track in, it just syncs the tempo automatically, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's extremely smooth workflow, isn't it? To be honest with you.
Yeah, it is really nice, easy. Because all I'm doing here is just flipping between my set list, which are my favourite sounds, and just pressing program to see in more detail what's going on with that sound, basically. Sticking in program mode for a little while, we've got other ways we can manipulate the sound as well. So for instance here, we've got the AL1 engine, so an instance of two sounds stacked.
Okay, and what's the AL1?
So that is analog modelling, basically.
Okay.
So it's all about synth sounds.
Okay.
So when it first came out, it was quite, it was well perceived because it got rid of all that kind of that aliasing that you got with the filter stepping and everything in the early days of analog modelling. And everything was just super smooth and natural. And so we still have that in the Kronos now, and as you can see, two instances of it here. And within that engine, you've got a step sequencer. So this is yet another way to create some motion to your sound. So in this case, we're using it to create a melodic bass line. So this is one of the presets. So that's playing the bass line for you. And then the other part of the engine is a split keyboard. So yeah, that's a really well-used engine, and there's loads of great presets in here.
I feel like I'm in an 80s cop film, you know?
Exactly, yeah. Definitely with those gated drums.
Yeah, brilliant.
So you've got lots of sounds like that which are based on famous songs that you see down the list. You've got things like Chameleon Bass. And often they'll have a drum track with it. So it's all just ready to go, Birdland.
And these are factory presets, so straight out of the box, you can do this, you can make it sound like this.
What's also nice with the original Kronos is they did not only, because this came with the Kronos 2 actually, all of these presets, but originally they did some great artist presets as well. So if you go into, say, the piano category, and you go through some of the kind of signature sounds, later on you'll find things like, let's just find it now, things like these, Jordan Rudess.
Oh yeah.
Signature sound, and Lyle Mays with a really nice, beautiful reverb piano, stuff like that. And also things in the electric pianos. You've got we collaborated with a lot of artists in the early days of Kronos, so we had things like, in the real electric piano category, things like George Duke's pianos, electric pianos, and Herbert Hancock, and Tom Coster, and Frank McComb.
And Korg actually liaised with these artists today to create these.
Yeah,
amazing.
Which is incredible, yeah. So right out the gate with Kronos, we were on it with the artists. So, and yeah, a lot of them are pleased to sit back.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I must say, actually, on that point, it does look great.
Yeah.
I like the all black.
Gone with the all black, yeah.
It looks,
nice.
yeah, it just it's got an air of professionalism about it, I think.
Yeah, and it's also got like grooved out end cheeks now.
Yeah.
So it's actually really easy to pick up.
Yeah.
So even the 88. So
Yes, yeah.
And we should mention there are 3 models, shouldn't we?
Of course, yes. Yeah. So what, 61, which is just non-weighted synth action,
synth action,
isn't it?
yeah.
And the 73.
Yeah, 73, which is weighted, which is quite unusual. So
it is, but same action as the 88.
Yes.
So there's that RH2.
RH3.
RH3,
yeah,
sorry.
and they've all
RH3.
got aftertouch as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they've all got aftertouch?
Yeah. Yes.
Right,
all
okay.
models. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So we're into now a different engine again. We've nearly covered most of them. So this is SDR1. So this is a string modelling engine.
Oh, okay.
So this is physical modelling, again pulling technology from originally the Prophecy and the Wave Drum, and then the Z1 as well. So this is all about modelling sounds, not sample-based sounds, but modelling sounds from the ground up using this technology. So we've got things like electric guitar. But the idea with this engine is really to obviously mimic sounds really well, but also kind of take them in unexpected directions. And that's where the vector joystick again can come in useful. So you can move it up, and then you almost take it into sitar territory. Or if you bring it down, you've got like a rotary effect.
And this is a modelled sound?
Yes.
That's not a sampled sound?
No.
It's just,
Yeah, it's purely modelled, yeah.
Yeah, I had a Prophecy myself.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, really fat sounds in it.
Yeah, that was monophonic, that one. So it was great for leads and
the bass sounds
and
were
the
good.
bass is great, and sound effects as well. And then when the Z1 came, then that made it polyphonic, which brought another aspect to it as well.
Yes,
which is great. So yeah, and then we've also got, as I said, we've collaborated with some of the sound library people who we've been working with for many years, people like Car Pro and Caro, and other people, and we've put some of their best sounds into here as well. So we've got this new nylon guitar, which is really nice. And you can hear when I use my sustain pedal, it moves the fret.
Yeah, I thought I could hear some sort of string buzz and things.
But what I like about it is you can control that. Because often that's built into the sound.
It is,
It kind of happens too much because it's like all the time. But now I can just.
That's coming from the damper pedal, is it? It's much more natural, isn't it?
It's much more natural, and you can it's as if you're actually playing the instrument more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like that. Again, that's using the HD1 engine, so the sample-based engine. And that's the engine where you can bring in your own samples as well and start building your own sounds. So you can literally turn the Kronos into whatever you want it to.
And what sound formats is it, or sample formats is it compatible with?
So what you do is you bring in WAV files.
Yeah.
And then you go into global mode and you work in this multi-sample, sorry, no, it's not global, sampling mode. And then you're basically working in this regular multi-sampling mode where you can set up zones.
Yeah.
And
then
you save that as a program in our format.
So you load in multiple WAV files.
Yes.
To create a multi-sample.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So all of the putting together of your multi-samples done in here.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and so that's that, and then they all go into that engine to play back however you choose.
Yeah.
And then you add the effects and all the envelopes and everything to the filters and whatever you want to do to it. So this is a really nice sound of it as well. So again, another one of these new library sounds. This is an electric guitar with some delay and some reverb as well. But again, really dynamic.
Yeah.
And you've got, of course, incredible effects in here as well. So if I go into my insert effects, you'll see we've got several layered there, but one of them is your guitar amp modelling and cabinet modelling. So we can model lots of different amps, including our own Vox amps, up to some of the more kind of heavy metal style stacks, and also different cabinets as well.
I must say, although I'm a keyboard player, I've never been a lover of a keyboard player trying to be a guitarist. But in a studio, what you just played there on a recording,
that's the thing, you would just never know.
I would challenge people to guess whether that was a guitar or not. They would certainly never think that was a keyboard.
No, they wouldn't know. Because part of that is the effects, though, because if you strip off the effects, then even if you play it in a guitar way, you just don't get that. And it's the dynamics of it as well when you dig into the string, and that's why some of these new libraries they've programmed are really hot on
amazing, aren't they?
They've really thought about.
So that case, is that Caro sounds?
No, yes, it is. Yes, sorry.
Because I remember them from the Oasis days. I think that's when they started.
Yeah. So they've been going a long time, and as I said, we've got over 300 libraries now on the Kronos website to.
And this is via the Korg's own website. You can download.
You can download them.
Libraries that are made by third parties.
Exactly, and our own as well. So there's a mix. Yeah.
Great. I mean, it's a powerful tool, isn't it? Whether it's studio or live.
There's just so much in it. That's the problem we're doing. We're doing a video like this, because it's like, what do you pick to actually put in it?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll challenge you. Let me challenge you.
Okay.
Just create a piano and string layer.
Okay. Yeah.
Without not a preset, but just choose two sounds, because I think that's what a lot of people want to do sometimes.
They do.